Now, I don't know what the Tree of Life is, but I trust in its promise.
Yeah.
And I think it sounds kind of epic. Like, did he also tell them that they should be using a 70s home interior for Chewbacca's home with shag carpeting? Hey guys, welcome to the Rogue 3 podcast, where we discuss everything Star Wars with a positive outlook on the saga we love. I'm Austin.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Austin.
And today we are going to be breaking down a very special, very important piece of Star Wars history. This is the Star Wars Holiday Special. And we are going to talk to you about it a little bit. We watched it, some of us for the first time, some of us for some reason for multiple times. And this is actually a very interesting piece of Star Wars history. It was the second feature-length movie in Star Wars history. The first, of course, being the original Star Wars film. Before this was released, this was a pretty early part of the expanded universe. They had released some comic books. They had released the first novel, Splinter of the Mind's Eye, and the novelization of the original movie, of course. And that's about it. So this was introducing some pretty deep lore for the time that it came out.
It was the first real Star Wars on-screen project after the first movie, and it's only a year later. So the Star Wars mania was still really high.
It was a quick turnaround.
Yeah, and it was,
which we'll see why soon.
Yeah, bridging the gap to keep people interested in Star Wars when, oh my gosh, you're going 3 years without a movie. Oh no, that's so long. 6 years later, we're still waiting.
And if you saw this, you're probably like, you know what? They can keep Empire Strikes Back. I don't really like the direction where this is going.
After this came out, they might not have had as much faith that it was going to continue to be as epic as it is.
But you know what? Thankfully, they pushed forward. And and it's funny, George Lucas didn't even really have that much involvement with this project at all. So it's not his vision. So that it's not his fault. Just remember that, everyone listening, it is not George Lucas's fault.
Kathleen Kennedy had nothing to do with it.
Kathleen Kennedy had nothing to do with this project, so I don't want to see everyone in the comments saying that Kathleen Kennedy ruined Star Wars, because the TV special ruined Star Wars long before she ever got involved.
Yep.
But before we jump into this, normally here is where we will recap what we did in Star Wars this week. But today, as it's so close to Christmas when this releases, I would like to break down our first or our favorite Star Wars Christmas memory. Mike, what about you? What's your favorite Star Wars Christmas memory?
Yeah, when we first said we were going to do that, something came to mind immediately. I don't have that many Star Wars memories at Christmas. I think my brother and I would sometimes watch them. But I remember, I think the first significant Lego set I got that I really remember was the ETA Jedi Interceptor, Anakin's Jedi Interceptor from Revenge of the Sith. And so that was okay, this day I'm building it. And as soon as I opened, I was like, yes, this is exactly what I wanted. And it was the perfect gift at that point, right after, 6 months after Revenge of the Sith came out, I think. And I remember building it. I had it for a while. I kind of wish I still had it, but I have no idea where. It probably ended up in a bin of Legos and donated to some place at some point. But that was prime Christmas childhood.
That's awesome.
What about you, Austin?
For me, there's been very few Christmases where I haven't gotten something Star Wars related. I always ask for the reference books and things like that for Christmas, including this year. It's on my list for this year too. But probably the biggest, most impactful was, it would have been Christmas 2002, which that would have been Christmas post Attack of the Clones. That Attack of the Clones was really my gateway into Star Wars. And for my birthday that year, I had gotten the this. I think it's was it 4-inch figures? The ones that came in the little blue boxes, whatever size that is. The little.
I think they're
toys.
5-inch.
5-inch. I got Anakin, Obi-Wan, Padme, Dooku, and the Reek for my birthday, and then for Christmas I got everything else. My parents just went to Toys R Us or whatever and just got
you had the whole
looks neat.
Petinaki arena.
Yeah, so I did get the arena. I did get the
Yep.
arena.
Oh, you did.
And
And
yeah,
is this gone, or do you still have this?
I'm sure it's in the attic, but I don't
Was
know
this
where it
the
is.
same reek that you just recently found?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ah, I
it's
love it.
it's,
That's
it's
great.
mixed in with the dinosaur toys that my nephew plays with. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I got the arena, I got the gunship, and that came with a clone, I think, and then I got like
Mhm.
pretty much all the Jedi. Like I had like Shakti, Kit Fisto, Plo
Mhm.
Koon, Ki-Adi-Mundi, um, Jango Fett, but then I also had some like really random ones. Like the one that always sticks out was Ord Frita. Like I had the toy of Ord Frita. I'm sure my
What
parents were
child
like, he's
does not
blue,
want
so I grabbed
an
him. But
obese Twi'lek senator?
yeah,
Like,
he did not get a lot of playing time. Um,
no.
You
That's funny
love the
considering you
Senate.
love to play
Yeah.
I
senator.
do love the Senate, but he was just a little freaky looking.
He was not the senator you were aspiring to be,
He was
which
not
is
the
probably
Senate
for the
aspirant.
best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was definitely the best Star Wars Christmas.
Nice.
Oh,
I
that's
like it.
great. I love that. I'm gonna steal from Mike here. So one of my fondest Christmas memories, we got my brother and I got Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga for Xbox 3, I guess Xbox 360 at that point. And so we spent the entire Christmas day playing through that one. And we would play the levels. The levels are fun, but my brother and I like to do a lot of role playing. So we would use the make your own character generator, and we would just kind of go around the levels and play with our little characters and make little stories inside the Star Wars universe using those levels. So that's one of my favorite Christmas memories.
Nice. I like that we all have something in it. Kind of involves toys, but multiple different types of like famous Star Wars toys, like figurines, Legos, and video games.
Yeah,
exactly. And let me not forget one of my favorite Christmas gifts that I still have. It is my beautiful Shakti signed by Orly
Yeah.
from Revenge of the Sith. And so I still have this one.
Nice.
Austin, I also got the Shakti from Attack of the Clones up there too.
oh, you do. Yeah. That's the one I had. Yeah,
I like me some Shakti.
she's great. Well, do we want to dive into this very special?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to, but we can. Let's talk about what this is first, I guess. So, for those of you who have not watched it, I want to take this moment. You have heard us complaining about this movie already. It is a much maligned piece of Star Wars history. It's pretty much met universal criticism, just due to the poor story and then the variety show aspect, because Star Wars has a variety show. Now, if you want to get in on this, at the ground level, we have to go watch it first, then come back and join us. You can find it for free on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really no excuses, is there, to not have watched this?
There's a lot of excuses. I was getting a root canal. I, had to mow the lawn. There's a lot of excuses that you can use to not watch this.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that every Star Wars fan should watch this, not because it's fun, because it's not. Not because it's exciting, because it's not. This is such a part of the zeitgeist of Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Everyone hates that Star Wars holiday special, and we love to hate it, and it's fun. And there are parts of it that are really not that bad. But the biggest thing with the Star Wars holiday special is that it brought us so many cool pieces of lore that really are still a really major part of Star Wars today. And so we're going to address those a little bit later.
I think part of what continues the conversation around this is that I think for a long time, first of all, it was so hard to find for a long time. Like if you didn't before YouTube existed, you had to hope that your comic shop was selling it on the DL, under the table or something.
Right.
It was never formally distributed because Lucas hated it so much. And
George
I
Lucas
think that
that he wanted to destroy every copy.
Every copy, yeah. And I think that mystique around it is what made it so special. I think people love the idea of the special more so than actually watching it. I feel learning about the Star Wars Holiday Special is kind of intro to the next level of Star Wars geekdom.
It is.
And I think it's kind of a cool thing to know about. For a long time it wasn't. Now it's pretty well known.
It makes you wonder, when you're showing your own children Star Wars, when do we introduce them to the Star Wars Holiday Special?
when they're 21.
Legally old enough to drink their way through it.
Drink every time a Wookiee growls.
Then you will
You're
not
gonna
make
be
it through
drunk in the
first
first
2
time.
minutes.
Yeah, as a general story overview, the story is that it's Life Day, which is a holiday, non-discriminate or indiscriminate holiday. They don't really say all that much about it. A holiday on Kashyyyk, and Chewbacca's family of his wife Mala, his son Lumpy, and his father Itchy, great names, are waiting for him to come back. And him and Han Solo are trying to make their way, but they get caught up. And it's kind of this series of different things. So it's really broken up into many different sections. It's not just like one scene after. It's like there are like asides and songs and different things that are going on throughout. This is my first time watching it, and the biggest shock for me was how long it is. It is an hour and a half. I thought it was going to be like 30 minutes. So when I opened up YouTube and I went into it, I knew about it. I've known about it for so long. And I saw that was an hour and a half. I was like, oh boy, this is something.
Well, and I think part of what makes it so difficult to get through is like the variety show format, which is a thing that we really don't have anymore.
Yeah.
Like the only thing in our culture that's like remotely similar is Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
That's like really the only thing that's like, and that's not even like true variety show in the way that this is. And so it's just kind of like a thing that doesn't really exist anymore. Like it's a thing that we've like moved on from.
Mhm.
Whereas this would have been very typical for people when this aired. But it's not. I would not say this is like a ringing endorsement of bringing that style of entertainment back.
I do want to give them some positive feedback here. I think that the way they integrated the variety aspects, terrible as they may be, at least fit into the story. Like, it's not just like, cut away, let's go watch this lady sing a song. Instead, we get to watch the grandfather watch porn. At least it's part of the story.
And like
it's wholesome.
His son watch a TV program,
Yeah.
or have this hologram of gymnastics and stuff like that as well.
Okay.
Mala is cooking dinner and she's watching this I'll say comedian as the chef Gourmand.
Harvey Korman.
Yeah.
Plays Gourmanda.
So
Say
like,
his name.
there's they're all integrated into the story as kind of parts of what they're doing while they're waiting for Chewbacca to get there. So for all of those sections, we're not going to go through every section. We're going to tell you have to just watch it yourself. But it's broken up into multiple different sections. So for you guys, what is your favorite section of the special?
For me, there's only one section that I like particularly say that I would enjoy, and that's the scene at the cantina with B. Arthur of Golden Girls fame playing Akamina, the barmaid, and she sings a big number called "It's Not Good." It's good night. It's not goodbye, and it's like actually a fairly fun song, and I think it's very juvenile in its presentation. But the whole concept of like the Empire putting in a curfew and everything, like I think this is kind of like and really the special as a whole is the first Star Wars media we get where we actually see the Empire's like oppression in like a day-to-day sense. Like, obviously in the movie we see Alderaan get blown up, but like beyond that we don't see like how they interact with like the people very much. This is actually a sense of like we see them come into Chewie's home, like harass his family, and we see
They're like the Gestapo.
And we see them go into the cantina and shut the cantina down. And it's very like kind of juvenile in how it's presented, but it is kind of like an interesting thing to think on. And we get a fun song with it, like a fun bar song. And
I genuinely think it's a good song.
Yeah.
I told for fun.
I told Austin that I think that's how they should close the cantina at Galaxy's Edge every night. So somebody come out dressed as Akamina.
Oh my gosh.
And lead
I
them.
would be very into that.
Yeah.
I was looking for an Akamina action figure to give Austin for Christmas this year, and I could not find it. They never made one. Somehow, they never made one.
Someone on
Serious Akamina
they're
win.
working on it.
I would have to agree with Austin. One of my favorite parts is the Acmina Cantina scene.
Mhm.
I do also want to say that the end, Carrie Fisher sings a lovely song, and it's to the tune of the Star Wars theme song, although she's singing her own little
Mhm.
melody. I thought it was very well sung. The image of the Wookiees in their iconic Life Day robes comes from that particular scene, and we still see that, you know, today as we see Life Day merchandise. So that piece especially I love.
Um, the other one that I think people also highlight, and personally I think was my favorite, is the animated section.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that is, I've seen that separately before watching
Mhm.
this, because it's the most iconic thing is that it's the first on-screen appearance of Boba Fett. He was in a parade actually before this, but first on-screen appearance as as what do they call as Vader's right-hand person or right-hand man. And I thought the story there was fine. Like, he presents as like a helpful person, but is trying to just get in and trick them and be able to get past some of their defenses. And I think that was like a fine story. I'm like, I could have saw that as like a Saturday morning cartoon,
Oh
basically.
yeah.
Right.
And let's not
And
forget Han
yeah,
Solo's iconic head in that
yeah. I mean,
his
the
head.
animation, the style is not that great, but like,
And it's very much it's very just like generic sci-fi looking, which I think is
yeah,
fun. I don't know, I love it.
yeah.
I guess Star Wars really hadn't had like a really
Didn't have an
solid
iconic look yet.
aesthetic yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
if I'm
it's fun. Yeah.
so that animated segment you can watch on Disney Plus
Yes.
in
Mhm.
isolation. It's like
Yep.
it's the only piece of this that you can like legally watch.
Mhm.
And if I'm not mistaken, the animation studio that did that segment went on to do the Ewok cartoon and the Droid cartoon. So they had
Yeah,
a
yeah.
longer history with Lucasfilm animation.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's good. It's enjoyable. I could watch it and not cringe, which I
Yeah,
think is a
Yeah.
big testament to it.
I would argue it's the
Both are.
most like Star Wars thing
Mhm.
in the special.
Yeah, yeah. It's not like variety and psychedelic dancers and stuff like that.
I do want to flip that question now real quick. I know that we like to focus on positivity, but what was the worst part of the special for you?
The tutorial on how to put together a device, like they're just this straightforward, not
Oh
for
yeah.
laughs. Like
Dromboid.
when he's teaching Lumpy to build something, I forget what it is, but if you're not watched it and you're just listening to this, there's like a scene where Lumpy watches like an instructional video on how to put together like a
A
toy or
computer or
something.
I don't know.
Yeah, and it's not played for laughs. Like it's just like a straightforward instructional video on how to put together this device that does not exist. There
Again
was no
played by
cross.
Harvey Korman.
Yeah, there was no cross promotional thing where you could like buy this toy and put it together
Mhm.
alongside Lumpy or
Yeah.
anything. It was just
Nope.
they were really struggling to fill
If
time.
it had been a hit, it would have been one of the most iconic toys, but
Yeah,
it didn't
It didn't
quite.
even look cool. It was just dumb. It just looked
Yeah,
dumb.
yeah.
so that's mine.
Yeah, for me, I kind of land on two. One, I don't Gourmanda for me. This ridiculous, over the top cooking section just felt so, yeah, so over the top. She has like 3 or 4 arms, and all of this stuff was just a little bit too much for me. But the section that I actually actively fast forwarded through because I couldn't do it was Mermea's song "This Minute Now." I just wasn't my style, not my type of song. With Spotify rap being out, I usually land in the punk rock section. And so it was just not a song. And I was like, okay, I'm going to watch the first, bit of it. But I'm like, okay, I can just tap on my screen and make it go faster.
It's a
And to be honest, I
full length
watched,
song.
It's long.
yes. Oh, yeah, it's long. Yeah. And I watched on 1.5 speed, and it wasn't fast enough for that section. So
I am going to one thing about that sequence that I do think is cool is, and some super nerd correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first black actress in Star Wars.
oh yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
that a black actress appears in
Mhm.
and on screen. are there any other black characters really in episode 4? I know obviously James Earl Jones voices Darth Vader, but he doesn't appear on screen.
I don't
Maybe in the
think there are.
background. I don't know. It's
I can't
really
think.
white.
If there is, there might be one. There might be one character like in the background of the Rebel base or something, but it's definitely not a lot. I was looking at the Wikipedia article before this, and they originally cast Cher in the role of Mermea, and she had to back out because of a surgery, and they actually requested a black actress.
Cool.
They went back to the drawing board because of the criticism of lack of black characters in the original movie. So this was in response to that. And this actress, Dion Carroll, she was actually the first black woman to win the Tony for Best Actress in a Musical.
Yeah.
So she's actually has like a pretty storied career, which this is not a part of.
That's one of the weird things about it is like you have her, you have B. Arthur, you have these people who are good at their jobs, right?
Yeah.
Are good actors and singers and stuff like that, but it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right. And that's so interesting that it's like you can have all of the talent and assemble the talent, but unless you have a good skeleton of a story, it's just not going to land.
Yeah. All right. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, there are several pieces of the holiday special that actually still exist today. The most important one is the existence of Kashyyyk, Chewbacca's homeworld, that really was visualized, and it may have been mentioned. I think there was like a comic or something that was mentioned, and I was looking up online, but this was really the first appearance. And the style of Kashyyyk extended all the way through episode 3 when we first saw it in a theatrically released movie. It looks the same. Their houses look the same. Clearly George Lucas didn't hate that part, or perhaps he shared with them what it should look like.
So it was that one. It was that was like the one thing he kind of like weighed in kind of heavily on during the development of this, because Kashyyyk, like George always had plans for Kashyyyk in episode 4 and episode 6, and like it just kind of ended up not happening both times. But he had like thoughts about what it would be, and so when he kind of gave them like the initial ideas for the holiday special, that's kind of like what they pulled from that.
Did he also tell them that they should be using a 70s home interior for Chewbacca's home with shag carpeting?
I think he probably told them to be like architecture forward. Be very on trend. And today it would be like white shiplap and barn doors.
Right. Yeah.
Imagine floors. Regardless, we also introduce Life Day and the Tree of Life, which you mentioned earlier. And, it doesn't always get mentioned within Star Wars. Obviously, there are mentions, but really its importance exists in the fandom. Life Day, it occurs on November 17th every year, which is the day that this special was originally released in 1978. And it's almost like a second May the 4th. We really acknowledge it as a big day, and obviously they release a bunch of new merchandise on November 17th, which is always fun. So I see it, as a big piece of the Star Wars fandom having Life Day.
Yeah. And I like that it's been brought into other media, and especially like Disney canon as well, like where it's, there are stories revolving around Life Day. Like, Life Day Treasury is a book that I know Austin has right there. So there are stories associated with it. And I really like that, because one of the things that isn't around that much in Star Wars are like the cultural side of like holidays. You have Life Day, you have the festival on Pisana in
Aki-Aki.
9,
Yeah.
the Aki-Aki. And then that's kind of it for the most part, really, especially theatrically. That's all you have. So there's not much of the like cultural side of species in Star Wars. And so this is a really significant one for me, thinking about like, oh yeah, like they also have holidays and celebrations and stuff like that. And it's been cool to see it repopulate into the Disney canon through various stories and little nods here and there. Even in Young Jedi Adventures. I just finished watching it a few like a week ago, and they go to a Life Day holiday, which is super cool that they go twice, 2 year, like each of the years of what the seasons are. So getting to see that come back in canon is really, really neat.
You know, we already mentioned as far as characters go, Boba Fett is obviously the largest character to come out of this special. But we also have Chewbacca's family, Mala, Lumpy, Itchy, who have now appeared not just in Legends material, but also canon material. Those characters, I don't know if George Lucas named those characters or not, but regardless, their names were brought forth from Legends canon.
Now, I will say that Lumpy is no longer called Lumpy. He goes by Waru.
Interesting.
Does he?
Yes, that is the name that is actively used, like Chewbacca and Chewie. His name is Lumpawaru, and he goes by Waru.
So it's kind of like when somebody
did not know that.
like Topher
Okay.
for Christopher.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the name Itchy doesn't quite match with EU or Disney canon, really. Or Lumpy doesn't really match with those. So, like, I think it was a smart decision to have him go by Waru.
Yeah.
And then Mala is in those stories as well. I actually can't remember Itchy being in the same stories or not. So I was like, it's probably mentioned, but I actually don't know that, like, what story it was in, because obviously we go to Kashyyyk a few different times in Aftermath and stuff like that. So I'm not sure where that pops up or if it's a short story or somewhere.
It looks like he appears in the Life Day Treasury.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And then he also appears in the Life Day one shot.
Okay, yeah. And is he called Itchy? Does it say like Itchy?
His full name is Atichituk.
Okay, yeah.
It does not call him Itchy anywhere.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense. Like Mala is a fine name, but then yeah, his son and his father have different names in the present day canon.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
We also see Akmina appear in From a Certain Point of View, very, very briefly, but it makes sense given that it's about the cantina bartender. We see a character named Bloodlow appear in Last Shot, who appeared in the holiday special, I believe, in the cantina. And then Gormanda is mentioned as Cookie, the chef from Maz Kanata's castle. That's really his inspiration.
Right? Yeah.
Like
so
grew
these
up watching her videos,
do her little specials.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So these characters are certainly not prolific, but they're definitely still used and referenced. And it's always fun when they pop up. We do see a couple of extra characters as well. We have a Cathar species appear. For those of you who played Knights of the Republic, Juhani, the character from that, is a Cathar, and then a Deshade, who those of you who played the Old Republic, that is Kimball, one of your companions. And so with the cantina, they basically just reused all of these old masks and stuff from the original cantina sequence. And so when I was kind of researching this, it looked like those two were marked as their first appearance within the holiday special. I imagine they just went unused for the actual movie, and then they just used them for this instead. It is so funny that you have these same costumes, and the way that lighting and camera work can change the way a costume looks so drastically.
Yeah.
These costumes look so awful in the cantina.
Well, we also have to keep in mind a lot of what we've seen in the cantina too is like special edition and all that stuff too. So it's like touched up and everything.
Touched up, ILM.
And some of them were added later.
Right. Yeah.
One thing, this is not directly from the holiday special, but a lot of The Mandalorian was pulled from this. Like the like his look was really inspired by like the way Boba Fett looks in this, like the color palette, and then his gun or his blaster is the one that Boba Fett uses.
Yep.
So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and there's a Cathar. I just finished reading Victory's Price, the last Alphabet Squadron, and there's a Cathar in there. So it has, again, kind of repopulated into Disney canon and stuff like that. So we see some of these things pop up. It's not like this, we pretend it never existed.
Yeah. Now it's definitely like like a fun little like a wink, like
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
this nerdy thing too.
I love the wink. The wink is so fun though.
Yeah.
Shall we very briefly talk about Princess Leia's lesson for us at the end of the story?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me read for you her very prolific words. This holiday is yours, but all of us share with you the hope that this day brings us closer to freedom, to harmony, and to peace. No matter how different we appear, we are one in our struggle against the powers of evil and darkness. She just loves to inject her own self into these people's holidays. May this holiday always be a day of joy in which we reaffirm our courage, our dedication, and more than all else, our love for each other. This is the promise of the Tree of Life. We celebrate a day of peace.
For the record, Carrie Fisher requested that she have a musical number, so
And she killed it.
And she killed
Killed it.
It was a
She
great
killed it.
voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a beautiful voice. I wish she did more with her voice.
Mhm.
I mean, she did a lovely job.
I think that speech is kind of insane. I think that the like gist of it, like it's a little like highfalutin compared to everything that just came before it. But I think ending on "This is the promise of the Tree of Life," which I don't know that they've said "Tree of Life"
They had not, no.
before this point.
Now, I don't know what the Tree of Life is, but I trust in its promise.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I think it sounds kind of epic. Like, this is the promise of the Tree of Life. Like, it's just so spiritual, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just,
If we had seen a story that this actually punctuated and it made sense, that would have been a great story.
it would have been great.
Overcoming evil, right? Like that's like
Yeah.
the story of Star Wars is overcoming evil, working together, ignoring differences, like that kind of
Mhm.
stuff to struggle to be better and fight against evil and darkness. The special is not that though.
Yeah.
It is not
It's
that.
goofy, it's silly, it's ridiculous, it's over the top. And so to punctuate that stuff with this is just so funny.
I, just kind of bringing into our final thoughts here. Did y'all have anything else you wanted to
Um,
say?
do it.
I think Star Wars Holiday Special like has a special place in like Star Wars fans' hearts. I think it kind of keeps like Star Wars like at Christmas like kind of alive. Like look, I've got all these Star Wars ornaments. I'm wearing a Star Wars like a Mary Sithmas shirt. I've got my like Star Wars holiday Starbucks cup. I haven't done it yet, but I definitely want to go to Galaxy's Edge for Life Day at some point.
Yeah.
But I think, and then plus like in the new era, which I think we're getting off of that now, but 4 of the 5 movies released since the Disney acquisition were all released at Christmas.
Right.
So I definitely associate Star Wars with Christmas, and I think the holiday special has a lot to do with that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Like it really does. Like it's something that brings Star Wars fans together around this time of year.
Mhm.
Is like the fun and the companionship of hating on it and making fun of it. Right? It's Star Wars fans are very divisive, and we're all very different people, but we all agree that we don't like this thing. But we can like hate watch it, or we can make fun of it together and still like find pieces of it that we love too, and bring kind of that weird kind of energy of Christmas cheer to around this time of year.
I was gonna say I'm sure people will hate on me for this. I love the holiday special because of where it exists in the Star Wars fandom and what it has since brought us. Now we have the Lego Star Wars holiday special. I don't know if we would have had
Which
that.
is actually good. It's actually
Which is actually really good.
Yeah.
And there are definitely pieces of this to love. I know there's so much to hate. There's so much that's unbearable and boring and dumb, but there are definitely pieces to love. And I would absolutely never say don't watch it. I would recommend give it a shot, take a peek at it, watch it on double speed, fast forward through parts of it, but still give it a shot. See what it's about, and then you can kind of join the club of people who have watched it and then you are welcome to come shit on it with us.
Right. Yeah.
This
Let
is
us
the
know
promise of the Tree of
your.
Life.
Yeah. This is the promise of the Tree of Life.
This is the promise
Yeah.
of the Tree of Life.
When you
I'm
watch
just start
it,
adding that to things.
when you watch it, let us know what your least favorite and favorite parts of it are, because I'd love to hear if people agree with us on what are the good parts, or if they love Jefferson Starship in it and they just enjoy that section of that band. Or
And that was a real song. That was their song.
Yeah.
They just kind of
Yeah.
sang it.
right.
Any
Yeah.
big Harvey Korman fans, please let us know.
Yeah.
It was a big deal.
But with that, we are going to take like a small break for the holidays. This is coming out right before Christmas, right before the holidays, and so there will probably be like an extra week, maybe a little bit more in between. Especially as I'm going to be moving from one house to another. So next time you see me, it'll probably be a different background, different place.
Mm.
And so that's going to be a lot of work going on right around the holidays to have and host Christmas with family, and then also be moving a house basically in the same week. So there will be a little bit of a break, but I think the next episode we were planning is to talk about what this year was in Star Wars, but also look forward to the year ahead. So actually, talking about Mandalorian and Grogu, looking at Maul Shadow Lord and books that might be announced and coming out and stuff like that. So if you want to recap the year with us, or you want to look forward to 2026 in Star Wars with us, join us for that next episode.
And this is the promise of the Tree of Life.
The promise of the Tree of Life.
And with that, this is gonna be Rogue 3 signing off.
Happy Life Day, everyone.
Happy Life Day.
Happy holidays. Happy Life Day.
Thanks everyone for joining us to talk about the galaxy far, far away. You can find us on Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube, and TikTok as Rogue 3 Media. We look forward to talking with you at the next rendezvous point.